in a small town down in Arkansas, where the river flows, there's a man with a passion that everybody knows.
Howdy, howdy everybody. Welcome to HT's EDC, coming at you from the back patio this Monday morning, and hope everybody is back safe and sound and you guys had a great weekend. We had a good one here. Went and did a little shopping with the wife. Got out of town Saturday, and even got myself 2 new knives out of that little trip. So remember this, guys. Happy wife gets more knife. So, but yeah, we're back and we're ready to get at it. We have this lovely gal. Say hello, Miss Abby. Huh? You got something to say to the folks? She is over here on my right hand side this morning, keeping us good and safe out here. But anyway, we have a new knife. You may have briefly seen it in my morning What You Totin' video today. One of our new Remington bullets. You guys probably understand now how I collect. I'm kind of like a crow to shiny things. Once I get on something and I'm locked in, I tend to stick there for a while. And right now I have found the wonderful world of Remington bullet knives, and I am just entrenched on picking up more of them, finding more out about that brand, and really loving those knives. And this is another one that we're going to talk about today, Remington Bullet. We will start by showing you the box it came in. Remington on the front, not much on that side. A little bit of address, and okay, on each end, same thing on each end. We have the model number and the little logo up here. Nothing too fancy. And inside we have the little plastic sleeve it came in, and all the paperwork about this thing. And yes, we are going to be talking about a Mini-Trapper bullet knife. So there is what it came in, and you probably want to see the knife, not a box. So here we go. As you can tell, we have already, it has a lanyard tube on it. You know HT's going to throw a lanyard on it. We got a nice little piece of stag bead here from a locally sourced, locally harvested white-tailed deer. And here is the knife. Take you for a quick tour around it before I get it all opened up here. Look at that, folks. We have some really nice, good fit and finish. Nice shiny brass liners there on that back. And as you can see, these slabs here, these covers are not too thin. They're pretty thick. So you guys know me. This is a 3 and like 5/8 inch knife. Basically your overall length of a Soddy Jr. About the same size as a canoe. So right at my Mendoza line for getting all 4 fingers on a knife. If it's much shorter in overall length, I'm not going to tote it. I'm just not. It won't fit my hands. And you guys have that's been around here any time know I am super. It's got to pass the HT 4-finger test, and that means I have to be able to get all 4 of my fingers on a knife. If that pinky is sliding off, if it's a 3-finger knife or a 3.5-finger knife, if my pinky does not get a solid grip on a handle of a knife, I'm out. Just me. That's personal preference. I've heard people argue, well, if you get 3 fingers on it and that bottom pinky is underneath it, man, you've even got a better purchase. Oh, okay. Winner for you, buddy. But it drives me crazy. I have to have my 4th finger on handle. But that is the HT 4-finger challenge thing, and we'll show you what we're talking about here when we get it open. But I have about come to know that about a Soddy Junior canoe, 3.5 inches, 3 5/8, that is about my Mendoza line. Anything 3 1/4, 3 inch, I'm out on, because it's going to fail. It's not going to make the 4-finger challenge that I require. So anyway, let's get this thing open for y'all. See if, well, we better just do it like that. I was going to try to get them out here all pretty, but we'll do it like this. And as you can see, we have a trapper here. And something I love about these, this is something I'm really into with these Remington knives, is the shape, the blade shape of their spey blade. You've heard me say it before, it's kind of like a spey blade and a spear point had a baby, because as you can see, it's cropped off a little bit right here, so you got to call it a spey blade, because that point would be just a little bit lower if this was a true spear, but it's not as high as, say, a case trapper blade. I guarantee you, y'all guys know what I'm talking about. Y'all can see it here. It's just a little bit different. It's a little bit more unique. It's a little bit more spear-ish, more of a spear-ish point to their spey blade, but I just dig it. Could be, does it help in cutting better than, a traditional spey blade? I don't know. It just trips my trigger, the aesthetics. Just being honest with you, I think it looks cool. Just a little something different. They run their spey blade a little different, and in this case, I think different is cool, and for me, different is better on this particular blade. Coming around here, we have a good old clip point blade, and kind of California, let's see, yeah, is that more Turkish? To me, it's kind of more of a Turkish clip point. We won't get into all that, because I get arguments. It's a clip point blade. We won't get into, is it Turkish? Is it California? Is it a standard clip? We're just going to go clip point. Not get too much in the weeds on that one. But very nice. Good point on here for your, your puncturing. If you're getting into a package or whatever, you've got a good point on this one. And, of course, this would be your slicer if you're going to, get this guy out of the way right now. But if you're going to need to do some good slicing, this will be your blade right here. But that's kind of what it looks like open with your clip point blade. And yeah, so of course, this is a Remington bullet knife, so you're always going to have the nice bullet shield on here, nickel silver shield on this guy. I love that shield. I am drawn to it. Like I said, like a crow to shiny things, but I think it is just a cool, manly, I don't know, it's just cool. Love that it has a lanyard tube on this guy. This is another thing too, I'm going to show you right now, the whole 4-finger thing. Yeah, and I already know, do it with my left hand, it shows you guys a lot better, but watch. Boom. See the pad of my pinky finger? I am on real estate back here. I don't have any to spare. Like I said, 3.5 inches, 3 5/8. That is just about, if it was any shorter, there I would be rolling off the edge with this back pinky finger, and I would be losing my mind. I really would be losing my mind, because I'd just be out on the knife. That would cause me not to tote that knife. But boom, I am on it. And honestly, this little lanyard here, if you had to like get back on a knife, if I had to come back for some reason, This also helps you here. If you did have to get off this handle and back up, you got something still for that pinky to land on right here. You can get a hold of that lanyard and just a little extra grip. I try not to have to use, you know, there's not many cutting situations I have to get back that far back on the handle, but if you did, that is another little use of this lanyard. You could get a little more real estate and a little more purchase by adding that, but honestly for me, it's just cool. I just think it looks awesome. Some real stag on the back of this Staghorn. Well, they don't call it Staghorn. What did they call it? Staghorn delrin. This is their Staghorn delrin covers. It is composite. It is delrin that they have jigged and kind of you know, colored here, jigged and dyed to look, you know, to give it a stag-esque look, aesthetic. But it's done really nice. There is good and there is bad G10, there is good and bad micarta, and there is good and bad, I was going to say Staghorn, but we'll call it like, because it's in their description, this is Staghorn, but it's delrin, it's Staghorn, it's the same stuff. But this is good. This is very nicely done. It feels good. They didn't cheat you on the thickness, and that's another thing I told that I was going to get into about a smaller knife for me. If it's going to be small in the handle, if it's going to be right there at the Mendoza, that 3.5 inches for me, I'm just barely getting all 4 fingers on there. Something that just feels good to me and feels better, makes it feel like a more substantial, maybe a longer handle when it's not, is thickness. Good old girth. And this, as you can see, this is pretty thick with those double liners there, those double back springs we have going on here. And then they give you, you know, some pretty good thickness in their Staghorn covers, but it's just a little chunk. It fills up the hand nice, and it feels really nimble. This thing feels like this would really whittle too. You can just, it just feels nimble, you know. If you had something over here and you're peeling something, if this would be a good peeling knife or up close and personal whittling knife. But it just feels good with that good girthy thick handle. So if you're gonna go small, like I say, you know, if it's gonna be a short knife, this is why I don't carry a lot of Saudi Juniors, and especially the bone ones. The Saudi Juniors are 3 5/8. They're right there at my, no problem there on the length. I do get all 4 fingers on it, but with those bone handles they give you on the Saudi Junior, they're really thin. It's usually a real thin thickness knife, so just don't feel as good to me. I like the Saudi Juniors. I'm a Saudi, full-size Saudi fan. I very rarely carry a Saudi Junior, period, anyway, but when I do, I actually like the delrin ones, those red ones, those yellow ones, the synthetics, because they're thicker. And you run into just, you know, you run into more of this kind of stuff right here. Those Saudi Juniors that are in synthetic are like this thickness, and then it feels like something. It's one of those, if you know, you know, and a lot of that is opinion. And you are watching me now, so you're getting my opinion. But how about walk and talk? These things have half stops, kind of like your mini trapper for case. You know, the full-size trappers don't have half stops. Well, they've kind of followed suit. They're mini trappers. Did y'all hear that? Well, that kicks nice. If I don't get myself here, set it up where I don't hurt myself. Very nice. How about coming into half stop? Nice spring. Check the wall. Does it spring back? We are. How about this way? Oh yeah. Solid, stout wall. Love that in a half stop. How about all the way going into full close? We'll get to about that 25–30% that I like to see my detent start to take over at. So there we are. We're going to give it just a ever. There it goes. Gator snap. Really nice. Good acoustics. Winter chicken dinner there. How about the old Spish Blade? We will get that one here. Be quiet for a second, let y'all experience this. Solid. How about coming into half stop? Nice. Check the wall. Do we spring back? We're springing. How about this way? No problems there. And let's set it up at about that 25, about that 30%, and just give it just a skosh. Good snap. Real good walk and talk. Good solid half stops, good solid walls at all the half stop positions. Yeah. Centering, centering on this one. We got to be honest. We are little to be desired on centering. This blade here, your Spish Blade, it is favoring the pile side. It's not terrible. I mean, you can see me push it right there with my finger. That would be dead center. And you take your finger off and it comes a little bit back toward the pile. But the old clip point blade is pretty much right over here by that liner. So not the best centering on these two blades, but we are not scraping sidewalls or dull. My main thing is if I'm opening and closing my knife and I'm hitting the liner, you're dulling your knife. When you're if you're taking your knife out or closing your knife and you're dulling your tool, that's a problem. Outside of that, if you open your knife, it's not hitting a wall. You close your knife, it's not hitting, I say the wall, the liners in a knife. If you're not hitting that, you're not dulling your knife. The rest of it, and I'm one of you, don't get me wrong, I love a centered blade. Does it make me mad when they're not centered? Mad may be strong, but a strong term, but I like them centered like the rest of you do. But to be honest, it is more of an aesthetic thing as long as it's not hitting those liners. When you're hitting those liners, my opinion, you have a defective knife. Because if you're using your knife, you're opening and closing your knife, and you are dulling your tool, it's a cutting tool. If you're dulling the cutting of your tool, kind of a problem. But outside of that, honestly guys, you open your knife, now as I drop it, and it's opening and closing, it's not hitting any kind of liners. When you open it, it's just as sharp as it was when it was closed. You take it out, you cut whatever media you're cutting, it's fine. It really is. The rest of it is us as knife collectors and enthusiasts loving it when it's right down Broadway. And I'm one of you. I do too. I appreciate it when they get centering right, but we probably give that way too much weight. To be honest, we really do. It's more aesthetic. But anyway, hadn't talked to you, hadn't showed you all the tang stamps. We'll do that real quick. This is a 1991, so that makes this knife 33 years old. And on this channel, we go with the 25 years or older as vintage. So I'm calling this a vintage knife. And the blade tangs, let's see. We haven't showed y'all the model number, which is over here on the Spish Blade. And this is an R1178. Yes, R1178. That will be in my product description. I always do put those there in case y'all want to track down one of these knives. And we will show y'all the Remington logo here, nice and stamped on the tang stamp, Remington USA, UMC, all the good stuff. But yeah, we are loving this. We are rocking this in the old Justin Lynch pocket slip today. This is what we're going to be toting, and so far so good. I am absolutely loving it. Well, folks, we're at that hallowed 20-minute mark that I have ran my mouth. Coffee's getting colder by the minute. I'm going to let you guys go, but thank y'all for checking out the old Mini-Trapper. I think this is going to be one I really like, and there will be more. There will be more Remingtons to come. I'm trying to kind of mix in another knife. I've got a bunch of Remingtons in here lately, so there will be more coming, but I'm not going to inundate y'all every day with 5 or 6 days of Remington knives. I'll kind of show something else and come back to them. But you'll probably see this old bullet shield more in the upcoming future. Thank you guys for giving me your time, letting me come into your home. Hit those little buttons down there for me if you see fit. Because if you like this kind of content, you like these old traditional knives, you're going to see them here. We love you. We're going to get out here. God bless. HT. Out.
Buck knives gleaming under that old porch light. He'll tell their stories deep into the night. Reviews and torture tests. It's a sight to see. HT's EDC.